Cool. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy, NarikChase. Let me go ahead and close a couple of these windows because I got a lot of windows open right now. All right, then. I'm your boy, NarikChase, and in this video, we're doing another episode of the Streamline Podcast. Now, this is episode 93. Yay. And I wanted to do something special that because I always talk about news and stuff like that. And I feel like I want to dive into a series that I really want to talk about. There's 6 books in it. I've reviewed one of the books and I hadn't really had time to review them all. So why not go ahead and just shoot one long discussion video talking about the books. And for those who don't, well, I'm gonna say for those who don't know, because you don't know what the title says, I'm going to be talking about the Millennium series. Yay! So episode 93, we're talking about the Millennium series. Let me go ahead and play this just so y'all can, because I feel real good if I did it. Sweet. I like that. That was actually more seamless than on my X broadcaster, so that's pretty cool. I'm also play some music as well. What was it? It was this one. All right. Turn that down just a little bit. Yes. All right, cool. So nothing, just go ahead and get things started. Now, for those who don't know about the Millennium series, the Millennium series is a Swedish crime set of crime novels created by the journalist Stig Larsson. It's about two characters. One of them is a woman named Elizabeth Salander. The other one is a journalist named Mikael Blomqvist. Now, Salander is a hacker. She's antisocial, extremely smart, a bit of a gothic type character. Very, very, very traumatic past that she has. You got Mikael Blomqvist, who's just not really seen really good in the eyes of a lot of people initially when the series starts off. But as the series continues going, you see this friendship that builds between these two characters as they go through all of these crazy endeavors. And it's just a very, very well written, just a really good series. I really, really like it. In fact, it's one of my favorites. It was to the point of now this is the first one. I just had to finish the rest of them. Now, what to just get into this, I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. But before we do, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And remember, guys, we end up shooting videos every weekend, regardless if it's just one dang video. But we always put the videos up every weekend, and I'm doing my best to stick on that. So let's go ahead and continue on. Now, the series consists of 6 books. Initially, Stig Larsson wrote the first 3 books, but he ended up passing away, unfortunately. And then the series was picked up by David Lagerkrantz, who ended up writing the next 3. Now, I did get some pretty interesting news, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but there actually is supposed to be someone, it was a woman that's supposed to be writing another trilogy. I can't remember what a 3rd trilogy by Karen Smirnoff. And yes, we're not talking about the drink, but I'm actually really interested in talking about that. I think it's an interesting idea. There's a lot of good to it, but there's a lot of bad to it as well. But we'll go ahead and keep things going. Now, we'll start off with all the books, and I'll give you a brief summary on them, talk about what I like about them, talk about the story, talk about the characters. As I said, if you hadn't seen My Girl the Dragon Tattoo, which is the first book in the original Millennium trilogy, the story follows a journalist named Mikael Blomqvist, who is hired to investigate the disappearance of the niece of this really wealthy man 40 years prior, and aiding him is the investigator and hacker named Elizabeth Salander. Now, what made this book really, really good? As a mystery, it was really good. I like seeing both of these characters take these 2 different approaches to trying to solve this mystery. One bit more old school, the other one a bit more new school. And I like how they utilize those 2 different talents to work together and a bit of a part as well to solve this mystery. Now, the biggest thing about the story that just makes it so great. Not only is the story really, really good, but the two characters. I do like Lisbeth. She's one of the few characters that I could say, and I'm not just saying it's not like a lot of them or anything, but she's one of the strong female characters that I can actually root for because she's strong in the sense of her morality and strong in the sense of her personality, strong in the sense of her virtue. Yes, she does a lot of fucked up things. She wouldn't be necessarily the hero of the story. I would say she'd be more of an anti-hero because she would do some fucked up shit. She would do. She's one of those characters just like a complete asshole. But as you learn more about her character, you do see that she does have a really good side to her. She has really good morals. You see, I think that's her the train. I hope that's not the train. But she has a lot of really good morals. She's actually a really good character. She has a really, really dark past. It's really messed up. And yes, that is the train. The train would do this at this moment. But what I probably do is uh hit the train. Why would the train be coming right that at this time of night? It's a bunch of BS. But anyways, hopefully it'll come. You can hear it, can't you? I'm sitting here talking about this. Now Elizabeth is actually a really good. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and mute this. Okay, the initial part of it blaring its horn is gone, and now hopefully y'all can't hear the train back there because I literally stayed like it feels like 100 feet from the damn tracks. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue with the conversation. She's a really nice character. She's a really good character. She's a really deep character. She has a fucked up pessimistic way towards life and everything, but there's a lot of reasons behind that. And as we go through the rest of the books, you start to see why she is the way she is. Mikael Bloomfist, great character. He has a really good cast behind him as well. I like many of his relationships with the other characters, the other journalists that he deals with. Personally, my favorite character outside of those two is Erica Berger, and she's really good character too. She's really grounded, and I feel like she grounds Bloomfist a lot. And I'm sorry if I butchered the guy's name. I feel like she does a great job of grounding his character. I like the back and forth. I like the relationship between the two, the special circumstances between the two. But I do really, really appreciate the growth and the great chemistry between Bloomfist and Salander, especially as the story begins to unfold more and more what's going on. Again, both of them have really cool stories. And even though this is called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I do feel like this book, because initially it starts off mostly from Bloomfist's point of view. You're like, okay, when is Salander going to be in it? But she does end up coming in. And like I said, she has a really messed up story in itself. And one thing I can say I do like about this, Jesus Christ. One thing I can say that I do really like about the story itself is this main story is just the investigation about into this woman's disappearance 40 years ago. But at the same time, the situations and lives of these two characters don't fully revolve around them, and there's still things going on outside of that. And I think a lot of times when we get into books and watch movies and stuff like that, and characters have their story, this storyline they get set on, they get kind of tunnel vision into that, and there's like not a lot of stuff going on in their actual lives that influences it. But in this book, I think it did a good job of, okay, yes, they're both into this investigation. The investigation is the main piece of the story, but they each have their own things that they got going on outside of that that actually contributes to what they got going on. So I really did like that. And outside of the characters and the story, because like I said, there's a lot of other member characters as well. I like Armansky, who is Lisbeth's employer. I really like him. I like his outlook. I like his relationship and how he sees her, and I like the care that he does feel for the character. But also, I do like Larson's writing. I love the investigative journalistic aspect of it. It's very deep. It's very factual. It's very informative, and I love that. It definitely feels researched with a lot of the stuff that's going on in the story regarding the culture, the land, history, uh, various occupations, just all of these aspects that are brought into this. It's done exceptionally well. It's definitely gone through with a fine tuned comb, as you know, people say, the saying goes. I really, really appreciate it, and I really like that. I like that this is a bit of a slow build because it adds to the mystery aspect of it, and it does a really good job of illustrating what of illustrating the atmosphere. And ultimately, I do like the way the story ends. Now, I will say this: I did see the movie, the American version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, that came out in 2011. Before I seen the actual the Swedish version, and before I read the books. And I'm sorry, the way I can't remember the guy's name. He played he's Bill Skarsgård and Bill Skarsgård's dad. That guy. I love the way his scene played off in the movie. I like the movie aspect of it better because it was much more terrifying. It had much more atmosphere, and I just generally like the guy's performance. So even though I did like how it was in the book, the dude in the movie, just that scene in the movie just freaking killed it. But The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is actually a really good introduction to these characters and to this world. It's just a fantastic read. Now, we end up picking up with the sequel, The Girl Who Played with Fire. And this story goes a bit more into Lisbeth's backstory a little bit more. The story follows journalist Mikael Blomqvist on the eve of exposing a sex trafficking operation, but the two reporters involved are murdered, and his friend, genius hacker Elizabeth Salander, is the prime suspect. Now, while Blomqvist is trying to prove her innocence, Salander herself is being pursued by forces that want her dead, or at least revenge. And this one is actually a pretty good read as well. It's a bit more action oriented, a bit more you get into what's going on. It's very, it's a very good read. I really did like it as a follow up. And the thing about the first book and this story, it's like, okay, with all of the stories, of course, there's the main story of it's not really a main story. It is and it isn't. It's like all of these stories share a main story, and it's really through the characters, not really the main story. Because if objectively wise, if you look at The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it's more of a standalone. It's a good introduction to the characters, but it's more of a standalone. But if you end up reading The Girl Who Played with Fire, you have to read The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. And you can't read The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, which is the third installment in the series, without reading The Girl Who Played with Fire. But I think you can read The Girl Who Played with Fire before without having to read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So it's more of a standalone, the first one, but it does fit. And that's another reason I like the series so much, that they're able to do that. But the story is actually pretty good. You get more in depth into Lisbeth's past. And in her past, you learn that her father used to beat and rape his mom, her mom. What led to her getting institutionalized, as well as more of because the first book touches about her being institutionalized, but the second one goes a bit more in depth about the process and all of that stuff. Her experience is more in there, and more of how it leaks over to her real life and everything. And this also is where she starts to begin, which you do see it in the first book, but you see her taking more of a stance of her life. You see her standing up a bit more for herself in this book. It's a very good read. It's a really good follow up. It's really good introduction to more characters. Again, I do really like Erica Berger. I like seeing her relationship again, how her and Mikhail are on this mission together and how she grounds the character. I just really enjoy her character. And when I watched the movie, I really like the actress that played her character. So the whole time I'm envisioning her, really enjoy her character. And again, with the arrangement that they have, I think it's really a really interesting thing. But also there's a bit more that's going on. because the stakes are a bit bigger now. And her past is much more interesting than than you expect, because you end up finding out that her father, which I'm trying not to spoil it, is a pretty prominent figure, and her father wants revenge on her for something that for a setup that she did. So there's a bit more family play, and again, it does pull out more about what's going on with her character. Now, that's not to say that Boomfist isn't really doing anything either. I really enjoy his character and what he's got going on in here as well, especially with it being a bit more personal for him as well, because these two reporters that were killed were some of his friends. So you see how there's stakes of, okay, I could potentially die as well, because he's throwing his life on the line, as well as his name, his reputation, as well as trying to prove the innocence of his friend. And I really like that. I like how he's balancing all of these things, and how Millennium is on the ropes, against the ropes, and the reputation of that company and everything. I really, really do enjoy that. So, and then the cliffhanger is just crazy. Like when it gets to that last act, it's just freaking crazy. There's shooting, there's killing. It's it's a bit more gruff in this go around, but it's a good follow up to the first book, and it does a great job of expanding more into Lisbeth's life, and I really did appreciate that. Now, Larson came with the third book, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, which is a good conclusion to The Girl Who Played with Fire. Picking up after The Girl Who Played with Fire, Lisbeth is hospitalized and waiting to stand trial for 3 murders. Her friend, journalist Mikael Bloomfist, rushes against time to help prove her innocence while attempting to expose the man who tried to kill her and the corrupt government institutions that destroyed her life. Now, I like this one too, because it takes a kind of an interesting direction, because again, when you look into The Girl Play Fire, you realize that the problems in her life started from are big, and this also brings makes it even bigger. So you see that she's a part of this just massive thing that's going on, but and it kind of shows you just how it, like, okay, I've seen like movies and read books and stuff where you got this government agency that's willing to just do the most despicable stuff to stay relevant. And that's what this agency is. Have you ever seen that movie, The Long Kiss Goodnight? You get what I'm saying. And it's messed up, but they got that people got that type of mentality. And I think that's um, an interesting antagonistic force that she has to deal with, because it's a part of the government. So that's actually really, 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 really good. And again, the stakes are pretty high because people do end up getting killed in this book. And I love the relationship that these two people have. And I realized, just based off the second book, you see how difficult it is being her friend, but it also shows you she's one of the more interesting people that you're friends with, that you can develop a relationship with. And that's because when you read her relationships with other people, she does extraordinary things for other people and kind of cuts people off. But she establishes herself so strongly in other people's lives that they will go out on a limb for her. And I like that. And she ended up getting a girlfriend in the previous book. I can't remember the lady's name, but she was actually pretty freaking awesome. And what was the lady's name? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I didn't write it down, like because I'm stupid. But anyways, she ends up getting Miriam Wu, one of the really good characters that was introduced in the previous book, as well as Paulo Roberto, which he is actually based off a professional boxer, Paulo Roberto. So that's pretty cool as well. And great, just absolutely great characters, are really good. And I like with them, I like how their influence, not really their influence kind of brings out something special in her character. And I like those types of characters in her life because it actually fleshes out the humanity in her, even though she's quite a difficult person to be friends with. They have a really good job. They do a good job of I guess you would say, humanizing her in a lot of aspects. She's really, and the influences that she have on them and the pressures that she have on them and how they do come back to save her essentially in this book. Just really, really cool, especially what happened in the previous story as well. And I do like the legal aspect of it as well. The with her having to stand trial and all of that, I think that's actually done exceptionally well. It also shows that she's a victim, despite the bad stuff that she does, because she does bad things with the best of intentions. It's not just to be pure malice or anything. It's always with best of intentions or to defend herself or somebody that she cares about. She is a victim in all of this. Throughout her life, there's constantly been forces that have just been against her, that have been trying to silence her, that's been trying to make her life miserable. And this book definitely fleshes that out. And you definitely root for her character because, again, despite the fact that she is an asshole, there is a lot of people that want this girl dead or hurt that she has practically done nothing to, but they all set their eyes on her. And it's a great, again, I really appreciate the writing. I think it's really good. I think it's really meaningful. I think the tone is different, but sometimes you don't need to maintain the same aggressive tone throughout the entire series, especially with so many different gears going on, so many different subplots going on. Now, I will say this: I don't like. I will say that some of the characters that I do, I've kind of grown to like more and more throughout the series. I do feel like they do take a bit more of a step back because they're introducing more characters, but not in a bad way. The characters are still pretty relevant, and I do like what they do contribute. One of my absolute favorite characters as well is, what was her name? It was Mikhail's sister, Anika Gianni. Great character. I really appreciate her and how she helps Lisbeth. And she's one of the few characters I can say that Lisbeth that generally shows respect to. And I do like that. I really, really like her character. I would love to see more of her character because she's just awesome. But great read. To me, it's actually a really good ending to the trilogy before they put more into it. But as a conclusion, it works really good. So I really like it. I really do like it. It's a really good read. Now, for the fourth installment, and then this is where David Carentz, I'm butchering that name. I'm butchering that name. David Carentz. Let me see how. Let me just say this. David Lagerkrantz. I was close. Now, again, he ended up picking up on the fourth book after Stieg Larsson passed away in 2004. So, in this story, it picks up when Bloomfist ends up receiving a phone call from a source who has been in contact with super hacker Elizabeth Salander over sensitive information that could potentially benefit the United States of America. However, that source gets killed, and Salander ends up saving the source's son named August Balder, only to be pursued by a mysterious organization called the Spider Society and the mysterious figure behind it. And now, again, I watched the movie in the Spider's Web. I actually like the movie. I'm like one of like five people that actually like the movie. As a action thriller movie, it's decent. I give it a 3 out of 5. I really like it. I really like it. The connection it has to the book is damn near none. The only thing that it has to the book is pretty much Elizabeth in the damn movie trying to protect this little boy from the Spider Society. And the introduction to one of my favorite characters as well, her sister Camilla, who they end up hinting at in the other books, but really never really get to see until now. She's a great antagonistic force, and because there's so much emotional buildup behind that character and the animosity that she has with Lisbeth, this story feels so personal, despite the large stakes that's going on. It's really good read. I think Lagerkrantz does a pretty good job of picking up where Larson left off. I think he does a good enough job with the writing style as well as the research and the incredibly detailed um, writing that he does, that it actually feels almost seamless. Yeah, there are some slight differences, whether it's between how characters conversate, how characters do react to certain things, some writing choices, some bit of the direction. You could say it's more action oriented in a way, which kind of changes the flow from the previous books, but it's still a really good read, and I think it fits well enough in the story to actually make it feel seamless. Uh, I really enjoy. I think it's a really good read. I think it's a really good step in the next direction, because in the previous books you realize there's such a personal connection with Elizabeth's character that this feels like it doesn't feel out of place. But it's actually a really good read. I really like the direction of it. I like the writing. It does have some pretty cool moments in it, and that one is The Girl in the Spider's Web. Now for the fifth book, The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye. This one feels like the Dragon Girl, the Dragon Tattoo, where it's not really a major part of the overarching plot of the entire series. It feels much more like a standalone. And the story picks up with Elizabeth having to serve 2 months jail sentence for the crime she committed in the previous book for protecting August Balder, while Mikael Bloomfist is investigating a mysterious organization known as the Registry that experiments on children and definitely has its hooks in what happened to Elizabeth when she was a kid. So again, this one feels kind of like in the hornet's nest a little bit, because of there's this mysterious organization that's been manipulating certain events and everything, but this one goes even further back into the past, and it does connect a lot of dots of who these key players are that helped do this to Lisbeth, and why they did it, and what's going on. They're still doing it and things like that, and hurts and them basically trying to stop it. But there also is a really cool story that, despite them having to do a deal with the registry, there is this cool subplot with Lisbeth having to save this girl named Ferrari, Farah. I think it's Farah. I always mess this girl's name up, even though I've heard it like 100 times. Faria Kasi. And in prison, while she's in prison, of course she's in prison, and you get to see prison life and everything. The spiders are still out to get her. She's not safe in prison, so that's one enemy she has to keep constantly looking out. And then she ends up having to bump into a new enemy, this chick named Benito, who's just this chick just wilding out. She's just a wilding out beast, and everybody's afraid of her. And she's got all of these connections. So she's basically, if you get targeted by her, she's coming for you in some kind of capacity. I did like that storyline. I think it was really cool. And again, it kind of goes into this whole thing of, yes, they're Mikael and her are looking into the registry, but she has this other story to deal with. And now the story does go into Faria's, get into her head. You see what she has to deal with. And again, this is one of those moments where she's an interesting character. She's a likable character. She has an interesting story about what happened between her and her family, and what led her to jail, and what's been happening to her while she's been in prison. So she's actually a really good character. And again, as much as I like these new characters, I still would like a bit more from the old characters as well. And they do have their moments here and there, but you don't really get to see them. And again, as I stated before, Erica Berger is one of my favorite characters, and I want to see her presence more and more in this. But we have to make room for new characters. It happened in Girl in the Spider's Web. It happened definitely in the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. Now that one introduced so many new characters. It was just crazy. But This one I think is actually pretty good. I did like Faria. I did like her story, and I did feel sorry for her. And I like just how she got caught up in all of this crazy stuff. She feels when reading this book, it feels like Lisbeth is reaching back and attempting to save herself because Feria is in a similar situation where she's just this young woman that these major forces are conspiring against her to make her life a living hell. So I really did like the story. Did like the villains in it. Honestly, the other two, Khalil and Bashir, take them or leave them. I didn't really care. I really liked Benito's character, maybe because she had more presence in the story. That I actually liked her as a antagonist. I thought she was actually pretty cool, and even with the registry, I think that was actually a really, really, really cool concept to get with and to go on because. And one thing that they do establish in the stories is that her family is very exceptional in a lot of things, and each family member seems to have something exceptional about it. And I like that. I like that they're showing that people would try to use kids as like weapons and stuff like that, and try to train them and put them all this crazy stuff. So it's cool. It's cool. I like that in these books. So that I've been in this series, a lot of the angst that you see is women, a hatred towards women and abuse towards women are also abuse against kids. And you get to see that in these books. I like that underlying thing. And a lot of corruption as well. Fuck ton of corruptions. But it was Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye is a good read. I really enjoyed it. And the final book, The Girl Who Lived Twice, which is the ultimately the conclusion between the final battle between Lisbeth and her sister Camilla. I don't know why I just said that because the story picks up with Lisbeth confronting her past as well as doing whatever she can to stop and expose the spider society. However, Lisbeth isn't the only one on the hunt, and her sister Camilla proves that she would do anything to find Lisbeth. At the same time, Bloomfist is investigating the death of a homeless man with a secret tied to the minister. Now, this book was a bit slow with the Bloomfist story. And at first, I really didn't. I was like, okay, it's not really going anywhere interesting. But generally, as again, it ties back into this mystery. As this mystery is unfolding with him, I'm like, damn, that's some deep stuff. It got really interesting. It introduced some pretty cool characters and some really interesting situations. There's these group of people that end up going on the mountain. There's this murder cover up that happened. It's just not really a murder. It was a death that got covered up, and it kept going in some really interesting directions. When it started getting its foot in, I was like, okay, okay, oh shit, that happened. Damn. So I was interested in that, and again, it helped tie things over, of course, and just really neat bow, and just ultimately this cat and mouse game between Camilla and Elizabeth is basically what you really want to see in this. But just reading that was actually pretty good too. So I will say that I did like Bloomfist's story in this as well. That investigation, and I think that investigation kind of harkens back to the Girl Dragon Tattoo, so it helped solidify it a bit more. But again, ultimately, it is the this showdown between these two characters, and honestly, that last act was just crazy. It was action packed. There was a lot of stakes. It came to a really, really satisfying conclusion. I really enjoyed it. There are some interesting characters, and again, I do like the writing. Slightly different from Larson, not enough to be a distraction. It did a great job with that. Um, so those books are absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to rank them. Now, I don't really see them as like worst to best, and I really don't see weakest to strongest. I will say, not really weakest. I don't know. I guess weakest to strongest would be it, even though I don't really think they're like weak like that. Well, anyways, it would be. The Girl Who Played with Fire be number 6. Number 5 would be The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. Number 4 would be The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye. Number 3 would be The Girl in the Spider's Web. Number 2 would be The Girl Who Lived Twice. And number 1 would be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's how I would rank them. I think they're exceptionally good books. And I'm not, again, it's kind of hard for me because I'm not that guy that's like, okay, this movie's bad and this was good or anything like that. The series is mostly like they're all on the same line. They just have each one just have different things that make them unique from the other. But I still really ultimately enjoyed the series. Now, I did come up with a top 10 list of characters that I really, really enjoyed. And I started to come up with a top 10 list of best moments, but I don't think I actually finished it. So I'm going to try to come off the dome with some of my favorite moments in this book. So let's have at it. Now, number 1 obviously is Lisbeth Salander. I really like her character. I think she's interesting. She's very much the tragic hero of the story. She has so much trauma in her past that it's just fucking stupid. And she just has so many people against her. And I even in the books they even mentioned that all of these people are against her for no reason. So really like her character. She's definitely one of my favorite female characters, if not one of my favorite characters, or not if not as well as one of my favorite characters, like in books. So I really, really enjoy her. Coming up number 2, of course, Mikael Blomkvist. I didn't think I liked his character. Really enjoyed his character. I really liked his character. The man is absolutely smart. He's brilliant. I love the chemistry between these two. I love that these two have so many differences that complement each other. And I love that they have this like love-hate relationship with one another, but ultimately they care for one another, they're loyal to one another, and they're just absolutely great together. Mikael Blomkvist, dude's really resourceful, really smart, really passionate, and he has that drive. He's got that juice, and I like that about his character so damn much. When he gets the trail and he goes on a hunt, he's on it, and I love that about his character. So Bloomfest, bam, really good guy. Again, I have to say, Erica Berger, one of my favorite characters. She is the editor in chief of Millennium, which is the magazine that Bloomfist is a journalist for. And I really like Berger. Again, she's smart. She's resourceful. She's one of the strongest women in terms of character in the series. She's very grounded. She's level-headed. She's one of my favorite characters. Has really good moments. Has really good dialogue. Has really good insight. And I love the business aspect of Millennium, which she does a great job of handling, as well as again with Bloomfist. I really like their relationship as well, and she is his rock as well as him being her rock. So I really enjoyed her character as well. Coming in next with will be Dragon Armansky. Now Armansky is the CEO, founder, the head of uh, the security firm that Lisbeth initially is working for. And again, I like his character. I like his devotion that he has to Elizabeth. He kind of reminds me of Bloomfist in that way, in which he isn't necessarily her friend, but he has a strong conviction when it comes to her innocence. And he does really, really care for the character. I like that the man is compassionate. He's level headed, though. He's strong, he's firm, but he has a really soft side to him. And I really appreciate that about his character. And especially in the story, and you see how many people are pretty much assholes, especially to her character. It's nice to see a character actually be genuine with her, care about her, and stuff like that without just being overly an asshole to her. So I like Armansky, and especially when things start to get a bit more heavy, what he puts on the line for her. And I really, 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 really thumbs up to him for that. Thumbs up. I'm got a stutter. But also, coming in at number 5, Camilla. I like Camilla. I like her. She's manipulative. She's a bitch. but and like Lisbeth, she has a tragic past as well that helped form her personality, and it's through the mutual mistreatment of their father that made ultimately broke those two up from each other and ultimately made them to who they are. And I like her because she's just as tragic a character as Lisbeth is, despite the fact that she's actually just this terrorist. And I like that. I like that she also has insecurities. I like that she does feel grounded as well. One of the things that they absolutely push in the story is while Lisbeth is exceptionally smart, Ronald is exceptionally strong. Camille is exceptionally beautiful. And all three of them, these characters, utilize their specific skill sets to achieve quite a lot. So Camille might not be as smart as Lisbeth, but she is manipulative, she is sneaky, she's resourceful, and she will use her beauty in a second to get what she wants. And she does not give a damn about nobody else. So I really do like her character. And I love female villains that are able to use their beauty, their sexuality, and to be able to coerce and to manipulate other people and to get what they want. I like that because it's not the whole man China feminist crap that's going on. It's actually her utilizing her skill set and talents and beauty and what she has to make herself to make herself compete, I guess you can say. And if you can do that and you could be this super villain like she is, then hell yeah, all for her. So I like Camilla. Uh, Again, I had said number 6, Anika Gianni, who is Bloomfist's sister, who's a lawyer. I think she's a lawyer for something else, but she ends up representing Lisbeth in the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. And I really like her character. I like her, the fact that she's kind of out of her depth, but she's competent, she's confident, she's smart, she's resourceful, she actually cares. She isn't like a lot of the characters are assholes in it. She's actually a good person. And all the characters, I would say she's definitely one of the most human characters in the story. I like her attitude. I like the back and forth she has with her brother. I like the fact that she's willing to stand on her convictions. I like the fact that she is not afraid to get into Elizabeth's ass, especially in the other book. But there was a scene where Elizabeth like went on vacation for some months or something like that and never called. And then when, Anika ended up finally getting a hold with her, she kind of went off on him like, hey, you better let me know what's going on. What's wrong with you? So I really like her character. And it's interesting because she's kind of an outside character despite her relationship with Bloomfist. And I like seeing her perspective on things. So I really like that insight of that character as well. Coming in at number 6 is Benito. Well, no, 7 is Benito. I like her character. Again, she's another female villain, but it's cool. It's interesting because a majority of the bad guys in the story are dudes. Different ways of life from thug street criminals all the way to the corporate ladder, all the way to the government. But it's nice seeing Elizabeth have to deal with female characters that are villainous, that want to see her dead or want to see her harmed or really want to see her in just the worst possible position. Hello, can I have your shirt? I could have sworn someone asked me that before. No, but it's a cool shirt. It's called Thinking. You should try it sometime. Where did I get this? Spencer's, I think. If not Spencer's, probably Walmart. But I think it was Spencer's because I don't like Walmart. But anyways, when I was reading the story, like I said, I like Benito. She's a bit of a criminal. She kind of, if not a bit of a criminal, she is a criminal. She is like some of the worst of the worst. She is not, she doesn't hesitate to kill people. She doesn't hesitate to bully. And you see how influential her character is because she's in jail. She's got the warden scared. She's got the other the prison guards and stuff on the payroll, got them moving and shaking for her. She's got people on the outside willing to kill for her. She even ends up breaking out of prison and stuff like that. So Benito is one of those characters. I'm like, this lady just straight up badass. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Now, coming in at number 8, I want to say is Feyre. I always miss the girl's name up. Like I said, I like her story. I like her character. I like the fact that she reminds Lisbeth of herself because she's this young woman that's being caught up in all of this craziness that doesn't make any sense, and how all of these people want her harmed and dead. And it's mostly a family thing. And the fact that it's a power play, she's kind of caught up in this, and how the fact is basically love that got her into this. So she's really she's one of the more tragic characters throughout the series as well. And I like what they do with her, that she does end up getting out of this, that she does end up stepping up in her life, and that Elizabeth does have a bit of influence on who she becomes as throughout the rest of the story. So I absolutely like her character. I think she's absolutely awesome. I wrote down the other 2 characters, but I cannot freaking remember what their names were. Oh, I'm sorry. I said it earlier. One of the other characters that I really enjoyed was Miriam. Miriam was the girl that I actually did like, who ends up being her own, the on again, off again girlfriend of Salander. You see that Miriam is one of those characters that she doesn't really get a lot of screen time, I guess you could say. But I do like her relationship with Salander, how Salander can be somewhat vulnerable to her, but at the same time still be so guarded. But Miriam is another thing about like her character. I think that she's a kickboxer, so she ends up doing some pretty cool shit. She's not helpless. She's actually smart. She's actually pretty resourceful. And I do like the fact that she actually has something going on for her. And I love the fact that her relationship with Salander ultimately does help Salander grow as a person, because she's one of those characters that does have this like string attached to her. So I really like her. I really wish she got a little bit more time, but I do ultimately like what she does to help Salander in the end. And I have to again say I really do like. Now I'm on the fence because I'm like, okay, is Paulo Roberto was one of the characters that I really like, and Sonya is the other character that I like, but I'm trying not to get Sonya mixed up because it was two characters. It was a woman character that was working with Bloomfist, and then there was a woman character that was trying to protect Erica. But the problem is I cannot remember which one. I can't remember the freaking lady's name now. I'm trying to look it up, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I don't remember. I think Sonya Modig was the character that helped Bloomfist. Uh, Anyways, I can't remember the lady's name, but she was helping Bloomfist. And I liked her character too because she was very competent. A lot of the angst that happened in the story where the cops were kind of against Lisbeth, she kind of was on her side because again, a lot of this is about abuse of women and kids, and she's actually a part of the people that fight against that. And I like that she becomes more and more objective with the story as it continues to go on. And I ultimately did like her relationship with Bloomfist. I thought she was strong. I thought she was capable. I thought she was interesting. When Bloomfist is about to get killed, she helps save him. So I really like her character. She was actually pretty badass. She had some really good moments. I did like the relationship between her and Bloomfist. I do feel it was kind of fast, but I'm like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and this ain't the time period where people actually spent like a year to get to know somebody before intimacy gets involved. But I actually like her character, and I'm sorry if it's the wrong one because, like I said, it was two women. I'm trying to remember which one. I think one of them was with the security company. Yes, one of them was with the security company. The one the security company was with Erica. Okay, and then the cop was with Bloomfish. Okay, yes, that's what it was. That's what it was. So Sonia Modig was the character. Bam! I figured it out. But anyways, um, at this the series also has some really good moments. Those are my top 10 favorite characters, by the way. Honorable mentions. I don't remember a lot of the guys' names. The Swedish names are just so freaking weird. I'm sorry, they are. There is the guy that was the hacker. I can't remember his name now. Elizabeth's hacker friend. I thought he was actually pretty cool. The hacker that Camila had helping her was actually pretty cool as well. Bashir and Khalil, I didn't really like those characters. I thought they were pieces of shit. Alexander Zalachenko, not really a favorite character, but that guy was an asshole. And he's definitely made his print in this damn book because pretty much everything's happened because of him. Um, there's also Nicholas Hedstrom and Hans Fast. Not really liking those characters, but they did put quite a thorn in my girl's side. So screw those assholes. There might be one or two other characters. Paulo, he was actually pretty cool, and it was nice to see him have this really good moment with Ronald Niederman. I like Niederman. I really did like his character as well. If there was like maybe top 11 or something, I would have actually included him as well because he was actually pretty brutal. It's funny because I was listening to the audiobook, and the way they describe his voice is just so funny because he's like this really big built dude, and he just like this weird, like almost comical Swedish voice that you see like on like a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something like that. But I actually liked his character too. So even though it's 11, but I'm just gonna stop at 10. But Niederman, I did like his character as well. So some of my favorite moments in the books. Um, Again, at the end of the Girl Dragon Tattoo, where we end up finding out what happened in the past, who this killer gets exposed, and Mikhail Bloomfish is going to be murdered. That moment, I like that moment because one, it was so terrifying. It was such a really tense moment. Now, again, I like the moment from the movie better. I did. It was done better. That it was so much more tense, and I like the villain. At least what he said, so much better than in the book. But it was such a really, really good moment. There's also, this is not one of my favorite moments, but it's one of the standout moments. Now, going back to the first book, there's a rape scene, and that rape scene sets the tone. It is just brutal, and it's not a favorite scene of mine by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one of the standout scenes in the story, and it also, again, helps Lisbeth take the steps that she does, especially her more extreme steps that she does later on throughout the series. So that one was pretty extreme, and if you don't have the stomach for that scene, you might want to skip that chapter. But it does lead up to some pretty strong developments later on, I guess you can say. So, and the girl who played with fire, one of the best moments, absolutely, is the ending sequence when Lisbeth ends up finding um, the people responsible for what's going on that set her up, and she almost dies. Twice, actually. Seemingly twice, she almost dies. There's also another moment that she gets where these two bikers end up confronting her, and she defeats them. So that was actually a pretty cool moment to see as well. Uh, the moment where Paulo ends up fighting Niederman with the help of Miriam, thought that was a really cool moment as well. Going to the girl who kicked the hornet's nest, the moment where The guy comes to kill Elizabeth. That was actually a pretty cool moment that happened in the hospital. That was actually pretty good. I know that's a bit of a spoiler, and I'm trying not to spoil stuff, but it's kind of hard the longer I talk about it, because when I talk about it, more things want to come out. So that was actually a pretty cool moment as well. Also, one of the more ingenious things that I've seen happen in the story is how Boomfist ends up helping her while she's in the hospital get access to a computer. That was actually pretty ingenious. So I would definitely give it to him on that. The moment that we have the courtroom scene and they dive into what's been going on with her past, all of these people that's involved, that was actually sweet. That was actually a good moment as well. You definitely feel a lot of relief. You feel like there has been a victory won because of everything that's been going on. So, really appreciated that sequence as well. Well, oh, what was it? The girl. I was gonna mixed up now. The girl in the spider's web. I like that one. I don't want to say there was like a moment like that, but it was actually pretty entertaining. It was pretty entertaining. I don't think there's really like standout moments like that. No, nah, I can't really think. I can't really think of any like standout moments like that. Wait, hold on a second. I just thought about something. See, as like a thriller, it was actually really good. But I can't really think of any standout moments that happened like that. Not saying it's bad. I just can't really think of one in a moment right now. The girl takes an eye for an eye. One of my favorite moments in that book absolutely was a scene where Elizabeth ends up first fighting Benito for the first time. That was actually pretty cool. How she bribed the warden, that was actually pretty cool. The ending, that was actually pretty cool as well. And in that one, no, one of the more shocking ones. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I'm going to go ahead and spoil one of the scenes. One of the parts that happened in that one is yeah, yeah. I forgot her, the dude that her guardian. I forgot his name, but it was messed up. He got killed. He got killed, and the ending where Lisbeth ends up attending the funeral, that was actually pretty powerful. It was kind of fucked up on her part a little bit, but it was actually pretty powerful. And how that guy died was just bullshit. So I actually like this character, but that was pretty messed up. And in The Girl Who Lived Twice, absolutely the ending. The ending was just straight up badass. That whole bit where you Bloomfist is being tortured. Elizabeth comes there to save him, and there's just like just crazy, just free fall action sequence. Really liked it. Really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Even the moment where there's a special moment that happens in this book as well, where Elizabeth is almost there to kill is almost in a position where she can kill Camilla, and she kind of freezes up. Really good scene. It shows her that she's human, that that despite everything, there's still something there between them two, and there's some kind of hope. But you see that, and you see it between both of them to a certain extent. It's like a love hate thing, more hate than love, but you can still see there's something there, and it's like they see each other as enemies, and they see each other as sisters, and they see each other somewhat as victims, but they still hate each other. And I do like that. That added so much depth to the relationship between these two characters and how it goes about forming. And also, there's an interesting moment that happens in this book where there's a discussion during an investigation of where these people went onto this mountain and they froze to death. And basically, the events surrounding that was actually really good. It was really interesting. It was really messed up as well. and I did really like that scene as well. So I'm going to stop rambling. I got my top 10 characters out. I got my think top 10 favorite moments as well. I talked about the books. I like the books. Ultimately, I think that the characters do work. I think that the story works. I think the writing works as well. The underlying tone about, and somebody said this, and I agree with them, that a lot of the book serves as people, when people have relationships, they're not monogamous, right? They're not monogamous. They're all people, it's open relationships pretty much. And I'm like, a lot of the relationships in the book actually do come off that way. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And again, the hatred of women, the abuse of children, and the underlying thing that's going. Oh, one of my favorite other scenes, and I think it was from the girl that's in the Spider's Web. I think it was from that one, but it might have been the girl in the girl did it twice, but I think it was in the girl in the Spider's Web. Is Lisbeth's on vacation, and there's this hurricane that comes there, and there's a murder plot that she ends up coming on, and how she deals with that. That was actually pretty good as well. But all right, I'm going to end it here, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts about the Millennium series? Before I go, I wanted to talk about Christine Smirnoff. And Christine Smirnoff, and that's how you say it, was talking about doing another trilogy. And these are my thoughts. Karen Smirnoff, I'm sorry. And okay, and this is what she said. The Millennium books are classics in their genre, where a combination of unforgettable characters and strong political and societal engagement still fascinates readers. I agree. I will continue to build on Stieg Larsson's core themes, such as violence, abuse of power, and the contemporary political currents. I don't know much about this woman. I don't know what her filmography or bookography or writography is. And it says that she's done some stuff. Oh, she's a new author. Oh, no. She's not a new author, but she's wrote some stuff. I'm not sure what the hell she wrote. I guess these are books. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, this is my thoughts about it. I'm interested. I do want to see more from the characters, but I feel like the books did a great job of concluding the series. Like, I was satisfied with the way the third book concluded it. They managed to bring something fresh and new while also harkening back to the old with the second trilogy. So I was really okay with what happened there. I'm on the fence because, like I said, I do want to see more from the characters. I do want to see them return, but I don't want to make it. I don't want it to be forced, and I feel like it will be forced if they were brought back at this point. Because, like I said, just everything was so neatly tied up, and there can't be. But I'm interested because, like I said, a lot of the stuff is something happen. A lot of the stuff is one person investigates something, one person gets caught up in something, and their interactions basically, it's like if one was investigating something, the other one happens to be a part of it, or if one is investigating something, the other one is investigating something, and they lead up to the same thing. And I'm like, well, what could happen at this point that would bring these two characters back together? Like I said, at the end of it, they both went on with their lives. They're happy that they've been friends. And so I'm on the fence about that. And I wanted to talk about the character development, especially between these two. I feel like they have their moments. They're what I consider very human. And this is what I mean by that. Because in the stories, when you read them, you in life you have character developments, but you also have what you consider relapses or forces of habit. And I feel like that sometimes they do develop as characters, but they also do fall back into other habits. So it makes it seem like they haven't developed like characters. But I actually do like the characters in the story. And if Smirnoff can bring these characters together and just pay homage to what Larson did with the characters, as well as Lagerkrantz put her own spin on it without putting woke stuff in it. And I'm not just saying it because she's a woman writing it, but I'm just saying it because she's a woman writing it in this time period where I put all that woke shit in it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Like I said, I'm interested. I'm one of those guys like, okay, yeah, probably should stop here. It probably should end here, but if you can tell a really good story, I'm fine with it. I would love to revisit these characters once again. But we're talking about this long enough. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know, what do you think of the Millennium book series? We're not talking about the first, not just the first 3, but all 6 of them. Now, I wanted to have a discussion about Larson's 3 versus Lagerkrantz's 3, but I'm not going to do that. That'd be a good head-to-head, which we might start shooting in April. So if that's the case, then I would definitely shoot that video because I want people to give just their thoughts about that as well. Also, like I said, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the series? Let me know what your favorite books are. If you could rank them, how would you rank them? Who are your top 10 favorite characters, or who are your favorite characters? What are some of the best memorable moments within the books? And do you want to see these characters return in a new trilogy? Because I'm interested, scared, but interested. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on. And I'm going to say it one more time, guys. We're going to be uploading things every weekend, regardless if it's one video or 3 or 4 videos. But stay tuned. We'll definitely catch you guys later.